Today we're doing things just a touch differently here on Stories from the Sidewalk. We are posted up at the beach in Muskegon, so you might as well call it Stories from the Sand today. And we got a great guest. His name is Dan Betz, or I'm gonna call him Detector Dan, because when we got out here, Troy and I found him searching for metal on the beach. Dan, why don't you come take a seat? Welcome to the show. How long have you been doing this for?
Since 73, I think it was, that I started.
So almost 50 years of experience, more than half your lifespan in the metal detecting game. What even got you into it in the first place?
Well, my wife decided I should be trying it. So when I got near retirement, I retired in 2003. I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hands. So it's what better thing to do?
Exactly.
You know?
Why did your wife want you to get into it at all?
Exercise.
Okay.
Probably to get rid of me for a while too.
So like how long are you typically out here when you're doing it?
Well, if I've got unlimited time, I'll stay out all day, but generally it's 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. Well, then your wife is smart. She's getting rid of you for 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, she gets a good break.
Yeah, that she did. Detector Dan used to do this every day for about 4 to 6 hours. He says it's slowed down a bit since he got remarried a couple years ago. But even though the hours have dipped, his relationship with this game is still as strong as ever.
What is it about metal detecting that excites you? Because I feel like a lot of other people will come to the beach, they see someone doing this, and they question, why? There's so many other better things to do at the beach, but maybe not to you.
The excitement of the find. It's like when you go hunting. It's the hunt. It's not shooting the deer or whatever. It's the hunt. You spend thousands of dollars for equipment for $50 worth of meat, you know.
But it's all worth it to you.
Well, it is, yeah.
Tell me what it's like when you're on the hunt. Put me in your shoes.
Oh,
what's it feel like?
It's just calm. No problems for the duration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gives you time to think. It gives you time to relax. Let your mind do what it can do.
With almost 50 years of experience, Dan's had plenty of time to relax. And he's even taken his hobby overseas, making trips to England to metal detect in farm fields.
We hire a guide over there, and he sets us up with a motel room, and he takes us to the fields. If we find a $5 million stash of Saxon gold, he gets a chunk of it. Everybody's happy.
And now that we've done this interview, I think we deserve a chunk of it too. Just a small percentage, of course.
Unfortunately for Dan, and for us, he never came across that stash of gold. His big finds have been few and far between, but they do exist.
What's your biggest ticket item? What's the most you've sold an individual item for, do you know?
Well, I haven't sold it, but they told me that this one coin that I found in England, which is a farthing in the 1100s, was a quarter of a penny. It's about half the size of a dime.
Okay.
And they told me that that particular one was worth about $3,500.
Wow.
Dan still hasn't sold it though, because he says it's only going up in value. What started as a quarter of a penny is now worth $6,000. Not a bad return on investment there. And while money can be a draw, Dan warns the metal detecting game isn't a very lucrative one.
The first thing is, don't give up your day job. Don't think that you're going to find...
But you found 2 quarters earlier today.
Yeah,
I
did. I found a lot better than quarters.
Yeah.
But they don't come often enough to put bread on the table reliably.
Is there a skill to metal detecting, or is it pure luck?
It's luck with a little skill to...
Okay. What is the skill?
The skill is in knowing how to use the machine, because a $200 machine and a $2,000 machine will find the same stuff. If you got a cheap machine and you know it well, you can do just as good as an expensive machine that somebody doesn't know.
The key? Keep your coil close to the ground and swing slowly.
And you take small steps, because that coil is 8-9 inches, so every 8-9 inches you want to take a step. Well, a normal step is 30 inches. So you're pretty much got to take baby steps, especially if you're looking for deep targets.
Yeah, and then once it starts beeping, that tells you you've probably found something.
You found metal.
Uh-huh.
Then the number and the sound. There's actually 2 detectors in one there. One gives you a number and the second one gives you the sound.
Dan likes to go by sound. A higher pitch means silver or copper, lower pitch is steel and iron. And if we're talking numbers, 60 is good for nickels and gold, 70s and 80s means pennies, and 90s are dimes and quarters. Then it's time to scoop, sift, and see what you score.
Don't spend it all in one place.
To you, that's a modest 25 cents. But to Dan, that's a discovery. One that made up a pretty big chunk of his final tally for the day.
About $1.25. Not bad for an hour's work.
Not bad for an hour's work. I'd say that's just slightly below minimum wage.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it for the money, of course.
I'm always hoping to find it. You never know, the next target can be the target. And that's the draw.
While coming across buried treasure is always in the back of his mind, Detector Dan says it's not about the prize. It's about the pursuit.
Find 2 gold coins in a year, or gold rings, is a good year.
Yeah.
You know, if I go out and find a silver ring, it's a good evening.
Yeah. So lower your expectations and then they might be exceeded. It sounds like that's some good advice.
Hey, that sounds like good advice to me.
Well, you want to create some treasure with me here? This one you don't have to search for. We're going to take a little selfie here.
Okay.
Yeah? You can say right there. Just smile big. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Dan, thank you so much. We really appreciate this.